For decades, one name was synonymous with invisible power, a power that didn't need speeches, photos, or stages. While presidents spoke to crowds and businessmen showed off their achievements on magazine covers, Jimmy Hoffa controlled something far more real, silent, and decisive: the movement of things. Trucks, ports, highways, warehouses. The entire logistical bloodstream of America ran through roads that, in one way or another, passed through him. Jimmy Hoffa didn't need public office to give orders. He didn't need to be elected to make decisions. A single phone call, a veiled threat, or a quiet agreement was enough to bring entire cities to a halt. Empty shelves, stopped factories, congested ports. When Hoffa spoke, the economy listened. He was the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the truckers' union. At the height of his power, he controlled millions of workers and billions of dollars in union funds. No product crossed the United States without, directly or indirectly, depending on a mechanism where Hoffa had influence. He understood something few grasped at the time. Whoever controls transportation controls the country. But on July 30th, 1975, the impossible happened. Jimmy Hoffa simply vanished. No reliable witnesses. No clear signs of violence. No body. No confession. A man who knew too much, talked too much, and controlled too much was swallowed by silence. And to this day, decades later, no one knows where he is. Hoffa's disappearance wasn't just a criminal case. It was a collective trauma, a national enigma, an open wound in American history. James Riddle Hoffa was born in 1913, in a country still shaped by factories, unions, and violent labor conflicts. From a young age, he showed a rare gift, an instinctive understanding of how power really worked. Hoffa didn't think in terms of ideology. He thought in levers: pressure, fear, reward. He learned early that whoever controlled the trucks controlled the rhythm of the economy. It didn't matter who was in the White House. It didn't matter what the speech of the day was. If the wheels stopped, the country stopped with them. Hoffa started by organizing ordinary workers. He learned to negotiate, but also to intimidate. He knew when to yield and when to crush. He wasn't an idealist. It was a cold, pragmatic strategist, obsessively focused on results. He built his union empire by making deals with politicians, businessmen, and, according to federal investigations, the American Mafia. For many workers, it was a hero, a relentless defender who secured better wages and protection from abuse. For others, especially within the government, he was something far more dangerous, an intermediary between organized crime and the legal economy. The Teamsters' funds grew enormously. Officially, they were meant for retirement and benefits. Unofficially, they became a perfect source for shady loans, suspicious investments, and money laundering. The Mafia quickly recognized the potential. Hoffa, for his part, believed he controlled everyone around him, but no one controls the system forever. To the FBI, Jimmy Hoffa became a national problem, a symbol of everything that needed to be dismantled to restore the authority of the state. When John F. Kennedy became president, a new era began. But Hoffa's real enemy wasn't the president. It was his brother, Robert Kennedy, the Attorney General of the United States. Robert Kennedy made Hoffa a personal target. Wiretaps, undercover agents, successive prosecutions, public hearings broadcast nationwide. The goal wasn't just to arrest him, it was to humiliate him, destroy him publicly, turn him into an example. Hoffa reacted as he always did, by attacking. He denounced political persecution, provoked the Kennedys, challenged the system. But, this time, the system was bigger. In 1967, after years of legal pursuit, Jimmy Hoffa was convicted of corruption and fraud. The sentence was a major victory for the government. Many believed that was the end of the most powerful man in the shadows. But Jimmy Hoffa was never good at accepting endings. In prison, Hoffa didn't stay quiet. He observed everything, heard everything, planned everything. Even behind bars, he still held influence. He was still feared. He still believed he would return. But time passed. New leaders emerged. Old allies took his place. The Mafia adapted to his absence. The world moved on, and that ate away at Hoffa. In 1971, President Richard Nixon commuted his sentence, but there was a decisive condition. Hoffa could not engage in union activities until 1980. It was, in practice, a political exile, a deal to remove him from the game without turning him into a martyr. For any other man, it would have been the end. For Hoffa, it was the beginning of his final mistake. He refused to disappear, refused to see his empire functioning without him, refused to be replaced. Rumors began to circulate. Hoffa wanted to return. He pressured old allies, reopened old deals, threatened to reveal secrets. He talked too much. He knew too much. He demanded too much. For the Mafia, this was unforgivable. On that hot summer day, July 30th, 1975, Hoffa left his home in Detroit for what seemed like an ordinary meeting. He told his wife he was going to meet with two men with Mafia ties, Anthony Giacolini and Anthony Provenzano. The location was the Machusa's Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township. Hoffa arrived early. He waited. He called from a payphone, irritated, complaining that he'd been stood up. His voice sounded impatient, maybe too confident, or perhaps already suspicious. It was the last time anyone heard Jimmy Hoffa speak. His car was found in the parking lot, locked. No signs of a struggle. No blood. No reliable witnesses. Jimmy Hoffa was never seen again. The investigation became one of the largest in FBI history. Farms were dug up. Roads were opened. Public buildings were searched. Nothing. Theories multiplied. Buried under concrete. Incinerated on a farm. Killed minutes after getting into a car. Each theory was plausible. None have ever been proven. Perhaps the most disturbing part isn't his death, but the absolute silence that followed. Mobsters died taking secrets to the grave. Others gave vague, contradictory hints, almost as if they wanted to feed the myth without ever ending it. Some investigators believe that a disappearance without a body was the real punishment. Not just killing Hoffa, but erasing him, denying a burial, denying closure, turning him into an eternal ghost. In 1982, the FBI declared Jimmy Hoffa officially dead, but the case was never closed. Excavations continue. Books are written. Documentaries appear. Theories multiply. Because the mystery of Jimmy Hoffa isn't just about a missing man. It's about power built in silence. It's about deals made in the shadows. It is about the price of trying to return when the system has already decided you should no longer exist. Jimmy Hoffa didn't leave a body. He left a space. A void America has never been able to fill, and perhaps that is the most frightening answer of all. Sometimes, the real mystery isn't where someone is, but why they were never allowed to be found. What do you think really happened to Jimmy Hoffa? Let us know your theories in the comments below, and if you found this story as fascinating as we did. Do forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history. His greatest unsolved mysteries. Thanks for watching.